Raw Deal Productions here. I'm the dude. This is the Van Damme fan. We're here with you to do another review. But we first have like one question for you guys. The question being, which movie is better?
Hard Target.
Classic.
Hard Target 2.
It's not really a question. We already know. This movie is definitely 10 times better than Hard Target 2. Not taking away from Scott Adkins' performance.
It says it all.
Yeah, don't hunt what you can't kill. And I think Scott Adkins' performance was great. I did like the bad guy that got in that one, but this one is the quintessential John Woo action.
This is what introduced John Woo to America.
Yeah, and the cinematography is wonderful.
Action, full of explosions, just like Hard Boiled or The Killer.
Yeah, there's some other suggestions if you're in the mood for some slow-mo Max Payne style shooting. John Woo is definitely the way to go. Another thing I want to mention is if you like the Raging Cajun here, his accent is on full display. It's awesome. I absolutely love Jean-Claude Van Damme's accent in this movie. What do you think? Yeah, it's fantastic. So, I think we have the same favorite scene, right?
Okay, this is what introduced me to Jean-Claude Van Damme. And when I watched it, my brother said, "You want to watch it again?" We rewound the VHS tape, went down, got chips and pop, came back up, put it back on.
I mean, that's really how good it is. I get excited watching it every time I watch it. The action is just intense.
All the action's great, especially when he jumps on the car and kicks the guy off the bike.
Yeah, that's my favorite part.
And having it in slow motion, it's like...
It's not really a spoiler because it happens towards the beginning of the movie, so we're not
beginning of the action.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the movie, halfway through, it's all action.
It's all action.
And you feel safer when it shows Van Damme do that. That's what gets me. It's like, okay, Van Damme's here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody else is dying unless they deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. Van Damme is the quintessential action hero in this. I think this is like one of his best roles, if not his best. It's really broke him out, really as an action star here in the U.S. I think. Before that, I mean, you had Kickboxer, you had Bloodsport. People love that, but really Hard Target is really where he got his stride. I think
that later in the 90s, because this came out in 1993. Later in the 90s, action movies took a lot from John Woo over in Hong Kong.
Oh, absolutely.
But also from John Woo's first American movie. Well, I mean, and Van Damme's hairstyle.
If you look at Die Hard and Hard Target, you can see a lot of similarities there. The action star is more lean. He's more slim. He's a little more quippy.
And a white tank top.
Yeah, and he's a little more quippy. He's like a every man's man, you know?
I feel like the look, though, was reenacted in Con Air.
Oh, absolutely. And another John Woo movie that's actually really good is Broken Arrow. Not a lot of people know that's a John Woo movie. It's actually a really good action thriller.
Rather underrated for his American movies.
Absolutely.
And this is also, I think, underrated.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when they talk about John Woo, they say...
Hard Boiled.
Well, if they're talking about American movies, it's Mission Impossible 2.
Oh, yeah, Mission Impossible 2, which...
and Wind Talkers.
Mission Impossible 2, I think that's an underrated film, personally.
Well,
there's a lot of good cinematography.
Yeah, I mean... there was just 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, that was the one, that was my go-to. That was my go-to Mission Impossible,
that's good,
honestly.
That might have introduced people to John Woo, but in reality, I think this is his best American movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
And I
like The Killers.
I think I would
The Replacement Killers?
That wasn't him, actually.
Oh, that wasn't John Woo?
But that was partly inspired by these versions.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. I did not know that wasn't a John Woo film, though.
This being...
You learn something every day, fellas.
Heavy action movie. It still competes with this. This isn't as big of action, but
I mean, with this, you have a 30-minute gunfight. I mean, you really can't
for years.
Yeah.
You know, A Better Tomorrow 1 and 2, The Killer.
That reminds me.
Hard Boiled. Chow Yun-Fat was his go-to man.
Yeah.
I wish that would have happened.
It was it was kind of like Scorsese and De Niro.
Yeah.
With Chow Yun-Fat and John Woo.
I wish Van Damme would have been his American go-to.
Yeah, and I think John Woo probably got a little discouraged as far as like the American fans not really see. I think he was way ahead of what the American like population was wanting in action movies, because we were still at that point where we wanted Arnold and we wanted Sly and we wanted these big buff guys.
Van Damme was only around at that point. This is '93. He'd been around. I mean,
3 or 4 years. I mean,
87, 88 was Bloodsport. So
yeah.
5 years is a lot of action-packed Van Damme.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing. But he
was still growing on us.
Yeah, absolutely, because we still wanted, like I said, that buff, that big action star, and that's what we want with the M60 like Commando. That's what we wanted to see. Like, and that's amazing.
And that was the detail of the '80s action.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like, if anybody watches films, you'll know like the progression of the action film in the '90s definitely took a step forward progressively. When you got John McClane, you got the Lethal Weapon films as well. You know Mel Gibson.
If you think of it, Die Hard 1, Lethal Weapon 1.
Yeah.
Terminator 1.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, okay.
You know, those were all '80s.
Yeah.
The sequels always, those were 1990, 91.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And it carried on from there, so they were kind of built. They started in the '80s, but they were built.
Yeah, and that's
Weapon 2
you can see the progression, and then you watch Lethal Weapon 4. I mean, you see the progression, and then we're getting Jet Li over here in the United States, so we're getting more of that martial arts flair.
I think, just like in our review of Knockoff, a lot of, when Jackie Chan did Rumble in the Bronx and it was released over here in America, he'd been in American movies in the '80s.
Yeah, people don't realize it.
The '90s, I feel, the mid-'90s was a good point for martial arts films.
Yeah.
And the early 2000s was heavy on it. And right now we're not giving it enough attention because it's all about boxing or mixed martial arts like UFC. And it's not.
With the exception of John Wick. Like, I will say John Wick, the choreography there is a really, really great, strong kung fu choreography.
But if you want to go back to, like, Jet Li, when he's doing... him and Jackie Chan were... Their first 2000 to 2005 was a lot of American films.
I really think America has a love-hate relationship with Asian cinema. Asian cinema, it comes and goes in flurries. Like you said, the '90s, it was very influential. If you guys like rap, the Wu-Tang Clan, very influential with them.
I have to give them credit.
Yeah.
Whatever they did, if it was all they're doing, they got some of those old martial arts movies
into the spotlight.
Wider released.
Yeah.
But they named them after the Wu-Tang.
Right.
Wu-Tang, whatever, some translated
36
title.
Chambers,
Yeah. Or Jet Li's movie, The Evil Cult. When it was released on video here, it was Lord of the Wu-Tang. Yeah. So they took total, complete control and credit for that movie.
Right.
Which I'm glad I got a release of it because it's hard to get. And it was, in the 90s it was hard to get too. But even with their name on it, at least I got that. So I give them credit for being fans.
It also influenced, like you got, the RZA from the Wu-Tang, and then you got Quentin Tarantino. And if you go and watch Kill Bill, there is so much Shaw Brothers, like Kung Fu, like just homage to that whole genre. And it's just amazing. You can see like the influence.
And that being the early 2000s, we were heavy into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you got the late 90s was like real big for Kung Fu.
Yeah, when you brought Jackie Chan to America the second time, you introduced Chow Yun-Fat for the first time.
Right.
You introduced Jet Li for the first time.
Right.
And Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
You got a big wave of, everyone loved each of those, and they took it not as far as I think it could have went, but it was like a stalemate at like 2005, 2006.
Well, and then after them, we were looking for the next big thing. And I think, in my opinion...
It was a slow process. The last 10 years, I'd say, 2007, 8...
Well, I mean, the only person that I think that really holds a candle to any of those guys you've mentioned was Tony Jaa, of course. The Umbach.
He just kind of flew out of
nowhere.
Field.
Yeah, like nobody expected this little guy to be like this little Thai guy.
When I saw The Protector.
Oh yeah, I was blown away.
He had already done Umbach like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I hadn't seen Umbach. I hadn't seen it.
But we didn't know.
Yeah, I watched The Protector because that was the big American release.
Yeah, and now he's coming up.
Well, I mean, you got Skin Trade with
Skin Trade.
him. It was great. You got him and Michael Jai White,
Dolph
Lundgren as well.
Ron Perlman's the bad guy.
Yeah, Ron Perlman. And that's the only martial artist that's really like not, or that's the only person that's not a martial artist in that film, which is really cool.
And I feel like, I mean, he was the martial artist in this movie.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It was an action movie.
Absolutely.
More than martial arts. But there's still Van Damme fight scenes, hand-to-hand combat. I don't want to get away from the movie itself.
My personal favorite Van Damme movie is always going to be Lionheart. I love Lionheart.
And see, that was all fighting.
Yeah.
That was martial arts.
Absolutely.
It wasn't
that's why I liked it, because
it was
a fighting movie.
He did Bloodsport, Kickboxer, Lionheart. I feel like...
The Quest.
Even, going kind of in order chronologically, I think Death Warrant wasn't as much... an action movie with guns and ammo. So,
I mean, we kind of get on get out on a tangent when we talk about this kind of stuff.
We get hyped.
It's kind of our thing, as you can tell. But to bring it back to Hard Target, sorry about this, guys. I would definitely, if you haven't given this a watch, definitely pick it up. Pick it up on Blu-ray. There's going to be a new release coming out for the Blu-ray, isn't there?
I wish there would be.
No, it was something else. What was it?
Double Impact is actually going to be a Blu-ray release.
Yes.
It's been postponed until April. But I'm...
Is there a special edition of that DVD? I'm not familiar. So unfortunately, this is like the bare bones. This is the only thing that you can get.
So hopefully...
That's horrible.
The Shout Factory and, Kino Lorber, that's a good company. I think they do more of older films.
Right.
This might be one they can get their hands on. Give what features we can, clean it up.
We've seen them come out with the
Code of Silence.
The Double Team. They did a Double Team Blu-ray. They did what was it?
Who are you talking about?
Well, Lionsgate has come out. No. Was it Lionsgate or who was it that came out with those Blu-rays? There was a year where they came out with like a ton of Van Damme Blu-rays.
I think you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. The Death Warrant and
I think they're bare bones.
Yeah, but they're still the Blu-ray.
They are cleaned up a bit,
which is really nice. I mean, I think this one actually is a VHS transfer, but it's cleaned up to look really nice on your Blu-ray player. I think it's still got that graininess. That's my opinion. Of course, Commando, Cyborg.
Cyborg has a special edition.
This is not the greatest Van Damme movie, but it's near and dear to me. It's because it's one of the first ones I watched with this guy here. So.
So Lionheart.
You want to put these back there?
Lionheart does have a special edition, which Van Damme is interviewed. So hopefully we can get him to interview for a special edition of this. Yeah. No matter what, even if it's 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes, whatever it takes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you like what you see here and you want to see more, there should be some videos right down below. Give that like button a click, and we'll see you next time. This has been Raw Deal Productions.